Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. I'm so happy to see my best well-wisher, Lakshmi Nishna Prabhu ki Jai. Would you like to sing Jai Radha Madhava? Please. I'm just a little baby. You are master.
Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari
Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari
Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari
Gopi Jana Govinda
Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari
Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari
Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Raja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Raja Janaranjana Natira Vanachari Jamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari
Gopi Jana Vallabha
Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari
Gopi Jana Vallabha
Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari
Yashodanandana
Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Jamuna tera vanachari Jamuna tera vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Wonderful. I'm so happy to see you. So did you just move here? Wow, welcome back. When are we going to see you in the temple? Thank you. I know it takes.
Exhausted.
I can believe that.
Over there, moving, then moving here, moving in, moving out. I'm exhausted.
Well, this is your temple, Alachua.
It is, Radha
You were president one time.
Krishna Balaram.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Krishna Balaram installation. You were here. Okay. Thank you everyone for coming. We are going to begin reciting the Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4 today. And we make every week some questions. You are in the WhatsApp group, no?
I am.
Yeah, you are. I remember. I asked TV. So we are going to address those, and we finished up to 10 last week, I believe, right? 4.10.
Fourth chapter, right?
Yeah, chapter 4. We finished up to 10. So we are going to begin with chapter 11. I mean, sorry, not chapter 11, text 11. Am I right? Yeah. Okay. We are going to text 11. Okay. The famous sloka. Everybody quotes. It's interesting, I was researching different commentators, Baladev Vidyabhushan Thakur, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. And I looked at in Vedabase, Srila Prabhupada quote first line. Hardly he quote the second line. And I found out why. Because Baladev Vidyabhushan Thakur. So we'll discuss that. So we're going to start from text 11. Let me see. 4.9. Okay. I'm so happy to see you, Lakshmi Prabhu.
Happy to see you in person.
In person, yeah, that's better than Zoom.
Sit on the screen.
So we recite by invoking especially a particular form of the Lord called Vasudev, who is the predominating deity of consciousness. And because Krishna is in our heart, Krishna is in the page of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is everywhere, but we cannot see because our consciousness is dirty. So the predominating deity of the consciousness is Vasudev. So Prabhupada introduced us, not only Prabhupada, the whole Guru Para introduced us that we should invoke the mercy of Vasudev, then our consciousness will be purified. So please repeat after me. Om Namah Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namah Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namah Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Narayanam Namaskritam Naran chaiva narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudiraye Nasta Prayesu Abhadresu Nittam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Sloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistaki. So we are reciting chapter 4 Bhagavad Gita text. We're beginning today from 11. So we recite together because of the time and a lot of questions to be addressed. Together we'll recite. Je jathamam prapaddante tam stataiva bhajamiham mama vartmanu vartante manusya partha sarvasaha. Lakshmi Nrsimha Prabhu, would you like to read the translation and purport?
Okay. As all surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly. Everyone follows my path in all respects, O son of Pritha.
See if you can catch it, what you just read. There's a two big, everybody gives commentary, Mayavadi, every impersonalist, and of course all the Vaishnavacharya. So very nice. We'll hear the purport and then we'll discuss that. Okay, Prabhu.
As described above, it is very difficult for a person who is too materially affected to understand the personal nature of the supreme absolute truth. Generally, people who are attached to the bodily conception of life.
This is text 10.
Oh, wrong one? Okay, sorry, you know what happened?
11.
Yeah, they came.
Yeah, I was thinking, where is I missing?
What happened was sorry. Okay. Everyone is searching for Krishna
Yes.
in the different aspects of his manifestations. Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is partially realized in his impersonal Brahmajyoti effulgence and as the all-pervading supersoul dwelling within everything, including the particles of atoms. But Krishna is fully realized only by his pure devotees. Consequently, Krishna is the object of everyone's realization, and thus anyone and everyone is satisfied according to one's desire to have him. In the transcendental world also, Krishna reciprocates with his pure devotees in the transcendental attitude, just as the devotee wants him. One devotee may want Krishna as supreme master, another as his personal friend, another as his son, and still another as his lover. Krishna rewards all the devotees equally, according to their different intensities of love for him. In the material world, the same reciprocations of feelings are there, and they are equally exchanged by the Lord with the different types of worshippers. The pure devotees, both here and in the transcendental abode, associate with him in person and are able to render personal service to the Lord and thus derive transcendental bliss in his loving service. As for those who are impersonalists and who want to commit spiritual suicide by annihilating the individual existence of the living entity, Krishna helps also by absorbing them into his effulgence. Such impersonalists do not agree to accept the eternal, blissful personality of Godhead. Consequently, they cannot relish the bliss of transcendental personal service to the Lord, having extinguished their individuality. Some of them, who are not firmly situated even in the impersonal existence, return to this material field to exhibit their dormant desires for activities. They are not admitted into the spiritual planets, but they are again given a chance to act on material planets. For those who are fruitive workers, the Lord awards the desired results of their prescribed duties, as the Yagneshwara. and those who are yogis, seeking mystic powers, are awarded such powers. In other words, everyone is dependent for success upon his mercy alone, and all kinds of spiritual processes are but different degrees of success on the same path. Unless, therefore, one comes to the highest perfection of Krishna consciousness, all attempts remain imperfect, as is stated in the Srimad Bhagavatam, 2nd Canto, 3rd Chapter, 10th verse.
Akama sarva kama va moksha kama udarati tibrena bhakti yogena jajeta purusham param.
Whether one is without desire, the condition of the devotees, or is desirous of all fruitive results, or is after liberation, one should, with all efforts, try to worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead for complete perfection, culminating in Krishna consciousness.
Very nice purport. So we can look at the Sanskrit and actually, because this verse is so important in our life. We discussed other day that if you acquire only knowledge from Bhagavad Gita or any Vaishnava literature, but you don't apply, just gathering knowledge. I had that, so I can relate it. You just gather, but you're not applying internally, because bhakti is journey within. We have to have intention and action both, because that too will give us absorption to Krishna, which is ultimate goal. And then we get out of the material existence to not just dying, means you go to another level of reality where pure goodness exists, where spiritual world exists. Within this there is also Golok Vrindavan everywhere. Golok Vrindavan is everywhere. But it's a different level of reality. Just like Prabhupada saw Narad Muni, Lord Shiva, but other could not see it. So it's a different level of reality. So if you only acquire knowledge and you never apply, then you destiny maximum you can get out of material nature, but you will go into the Viraja, Mahavishnu's place. That's it. And you have to probably come back if you want to go to Vaikuntha or Golok, because from there is no route goes there straight. All the association, all the sadhana is all done here. There is no sadhana in spiritual world. Even Tulsi Maharani did a severe austerity but had to come here for sadhana. It's very interesting. Even from Vaikuntha, if somebody wants to go to Golok Vrindavan, they have to come here and go to Vrindavan and do bhajan. So this is in Brihad Bhagavatamrita explains. So those who are acquiring knowledge, but then those who are acquiring knowledge and also trying to have a kind of a mystic power, or kind to have a not strong desire to serve the Lord, just hanging around there, not so much into material world, but not so much into spiritual world. Because there are 4 types of people in this world. Literally, you can see. Just by detachment and attachment, you can divide. Those who have a detachment from the spiritual and attachment to the material, they're called materialists, period. Those who have a attachment to Krishna, also attachment to the material world or material enjoyment, they are sadhaka who are purifying. There's a broad category, could be Sahajiya also in that, because they also have some affection for Krishna, but they also have affection for the worldly enjoyment. And those who are detached from Krishna, also detached from this world, they are called impersonalists, Mayavadis. They are not attached to anything, only to themselves. Then those who are attached to Krishna, detached from this world, they are called pure devotees. So you can literally, like, just by attachment, detachment, you can categorize the entire this world. So in this verse, it's saying that we should understand that result of different types of bhajan depends on the desire of the practitioners. You follow? So it's not only that we are chanting Hare Krishna, but what is our intention? What is my intention? May not be next to me has a different intention. So if you have a Shuddha, pure Vaidhi Bhakti, you get a bhav which will take you to Vaikuntha. That's it. But that's good. Vaikuntha is spiritual world. But if you have a Shuddha Vaidhi Bhakti, you love regulative principle, but you're not developing any spontaneous. But you develop little spontaneous, not too much, like a half rituals, half Vaidhi Bhakti, half Raga Bhakti. Then you go to Mahavaikuntha, like Hanumanji. Hanumanji has this mentality. Lord Ram cannot have a close bonded, but he has love for Ram, and Ram also has love for him. But there is a distance as for personal. Like for an example, one time Lord Ram wanted to share prasadam on the same plate. Hanumanji is like, my Lord, it's impossible. I can't even imagine to eat on the same plate. There was a banana leaf. So then Lord Ram took the thumb and split the banana leaf. You'll see all the banana leaves from that day became split. So it's not that nothing wrong. We should also understand. I hope everybody understands. There is nothing wrong. It's just that each devotee has a particular relationship, particular way they want to relate with God and serve God. So from that angle, there is a division. And this verse, Je jatha mam prapaddante tangs tateva bhajamiham. If you look at that verse, it's like a wonderful verse. Je jatha mam prapaddante. How you worship me, Krishna says, I will reciprocate with that. So you worship with a first class pure Vaidhi Bhakti, I will reciprocate with that. I'll be sitting in a big throne and you come and worship with thousands other reciting verses. You know, they have a different wonderful explanation given. But if you have a pure spontaneous love, like Mother Yashoda, so much involved with Krishna that she started crying while she's cooking, and Mother Rohini Maya said, Krishna is right there, you can see. I know, but I miss him. Now, don't try to put a logic. Krishna is there, she sees, but she's missing. It is very difficult for me because the intensity of their love, intensity of their love is so high. That's how it is. It's pure rag, it's pure spontaneous. Then it's like Madhumanga in the mouth of Agasura. He said, what is the use of? We feel like suffocated with this poison of this big python called Agasura. 8 miles. Can you imagine 8-mile snake, python? That's a big. But he was thinking, oh, we miss Krishna. We are not seeing Krishna. What is the use of living? Then Subal said, what is the use of dying? So they all came to conclusion, there is no use of dying or living. We need Krishna. We want Krishna. So they have an incessant, whether it's a crisis or natural or no crisis, all the time they have an intense feeling for Krishna. So that's pure rag. So Krishna reciprocates this. This verse is wonderful verse. Now, if you say, well, I don't want anything, I don't even believe Krishna's form or Krishna, this deity is material. So then you get material result. You understand? It's not Krishna's fault. You want to see Krishna as a material form, material, there's nothing, then Krishna also reciprocate. You see material. You want to see Krishna as a spiritual, Krishna also will show you spiritual and relationship will build on spiritual. So this verse is very many angle to look at it. The result of the various types of worship are not the same. Some explain the word Manushya Partha Sarvasa. This last three words, very nice. Manushya Partha Sarvasa. To mean that everyone is following the path of service to Bhagavan, Krishna. Now, whatever action they may perform, they will attain the same result. Now, it's very interesting. In ultimate sense, Krishna also told the gopis. I mentioned about Mother Josoda, I mentioned about Shukras. But in the gopis, na parayaham nirabadda, the famous verse, na parayaham, I fail to repay you or pay you. Because you have given up everything, social, moral conduct. I mean, any way you look at a harmonious living in this world, gopis, they literally condemn all just to be with Krishna and serving. And Krishna said that he cannot reciprocate that debts because they have dedicated such an extreme. So then, did Krishna reciprocate? Yes, he did. He said that your dedication proves the highest estimation somebody can reject or give up everything for me, just to please me. Nobody can. That's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, what did Chaitanya Mahaprabhu say? Also Prabhupada mentioned many times that sloka. Aradha Bhagavan Brajesha Tanaya Tadhama Vrindavanam Ramma Kachi Dupasana Braja Badhuvarigyanaya Kalpita Srimad Bhagavatam Pramanam Amalam Prema Pumartha Mahan Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhur Matamidam Tatra Dharayana Paraha. Four things we should remember, because Prabhupada quote this verse a lot. What is the ultimate goal of life? To worship Krishna of Vrindavan, not just Krishna. Krishna of Vrindavan, Brajendanam. And the second, that the gopis' love for Krishna is the highest emblem. Where is the proof? Bhagavatam. On what basis? The love is the ultimate goal. So this fourth principle is very nice. Now, in this sloka, first line we just read, Je jatha mam prapaddante tangstataiva bhajamyaham. Je jatha mam prapaddante. Je means who, jatha, as they prapaddante, surrender to me, tang, to them, tathaiva bhajami aham. I reward them as they surrender to me. Now, did the gopis surrender to Krishna? Yes, ultimately. But then can Krishna actually reward them? Krishna cannot reward, he says, because their surrender is like highest. So Krishna says, your highest surrender is such exalted, that will be the reward. That eternally everybody will glorify. So to promote that Krishna came as Lord Chaitanya and promoting, oh, gopis' love is the highest. That's how he pays back. Now, if you look at that verse, many ways, because you will face many times. Isn't like everybody is worshipping? Okay. Krishna says, 1041. Jajjad vibhuti mat sattam srimat urjitam evava tat tat avagachattam mamateja angsa sambhava. Krishna says, whatever you see astonishing, wow, that's me. So if somebody say, wow, this Himalayas, this whatever, the Disneyland or anything, that wow, that is Krishna. So are they actually approaching Krishna? That question will come, isn't it? Krishna says that. Krishna says he is Brahman, he is Paramatma, he is Bhagavan. So those who are impersonalists approaching Brahman, is that Krishna? Yes, in one sense, yes. Why? Why Krishna does not reveal them his personal form? What did we just learn from this verse, first line? Because they want to see him as impersonal, so he says, okay, here I am impersonal. You want to see him as a super soul? I am here as a super soul. You want to see me as the best friend? Then I will reciprocate as a best friend. So it is not up to Krishna, but it is up to who? Me. Yes. Those who are approaching Krishna. So this is the beautiful way to meditate on it. And you, as I mentioned, I was searching actually, because somebody mentioned that Prabhupada did not quote the second line so much, but he quote randomly the first line. Many lectures you'll hear this first line. And most of the Acharya, they quote this first line. Because second line is very interesting. Because if you look at the second line, it says, Mama Bortma. We don't translate word to word for making the sentence. We have to put a grammatical sentence. Mama means my, Bortma, path, Anubartante, follow. Manushya, the human, Partha, O son of Pritha, Sarvasa, in all respect. Now, if you look at that very interestingly, then you'll see three things wonderfully. I was making a little point here that Mayavadis on the same verse, I looked at it today, they translate it that all peoples follow my path. You can translate, if you know those Sanskrit words, you can literally put it like this. O Partha, O Arjuna, surely all the path leads to me. Now, Prabhupada is very genius. You just read that now if you buy it, if you get in the airplane going to New York, you will not reach LA. You'll go to New York. So all the path does not lead to the same destiny. It's a very simple way Prabhupada is explaining. But here, very interestingly, this sloka, if you break down, because those sloka, actually, Bhagavad Gita, some sloka, you can taste it like a candy. It's very, very nourishing the heart. In the translation is grammatically unsound when the Mayavadi's translation you see. Yes, they are saying that that's how they find it. Yes, that's correct. They can see it, you know, lexicographic way, dictionary way. But Prabhupada generally translated as Bhavartha. He knows the inner meaning of it. Just like 1034, it says, Aham, I, Atma, soul, Gura Kesha. I am the soul, Sarva Bhuta Swayastita. I am in the heart of all the being as a soul. Now, Prabhupada translate, I am the super soul. Now, why Prabhupada translate as a super soul? Because Krishna is speaking. Krishna is not translating somebody's word. So Prabhupada is 100% right, because Krishna is the super soul. So he said, Aham Atma Gura Kesha, I am the super soul in the heart of all living being. Okay, but somebody can break down and say, Aham, I, Atma, soul, in every being, I am the soul. See that we are actually all soul, there is no God. They can come up with like this, I mean, twisting, grammatical. So my point here, very interesting, that yes, it is grammatically unsound when you read the Mayavadis, because Sarvasha, the word, if you look at it, is closer to Manushya, then it is much farther away from the word Tama. The basic logical of the grammar is that if the adjective voice is for the noun, that comes closest to it unless there is some extraordinary exception, which are very rare. So it is grammatically unsound. This is our Vaishnava view. Another point also, if you look at the word-to-word meaning, it is logically unsustainable. If you say all the path leads to him, you may say that, why is Krishna even speaking? Because whether Arjuna doesn't need, if everything ultimately leads to Krishna, then what is the need of speaking Bhagavad Gita to guide Arjuna? Because he will go to Krishna. But that's not true. That's not what Krishna is saying. So if you look at it logically it is unsustainable. Why? Because all paths are going to lead to Krishna. As I mentioned, why then Krishna is speaking Bhagavad Gita? Or why Krishna gave so many sloka? You can literally 7.23, you can look at the Bhagavad Gita, how Krishna says, Janti Deva Bruta Devan, Pitrin Janti Pitripata, Bhutani Janti Bhuteja, Majjaji Nahopi Mam. If you worship demigod, how do you worship demigod? In the mode of goodness, generally, Sattva, mostly. So if you worship in mode of goodness to demigod, then you go to demigod. You don't go to Krishna. Do you? No, it didn't say that. Then Janti Devabrata Deva Pitrin Jantri Pitrivata. And if you worship in a mode of forefather, how you worship? In the mode of Rajagun. So if you worship forefather, you're not going to go to Krishna, you'll go to forefather planet. Bhutani Janti Bhuteja, and you worship ghost, like this, all this graveyard here on the way to temple. You know, you see the flower, they worship actually. This is also another kind of worship. So they, when you worship the ghost, how do you worship ghost? In Tamagun. You have to take shelter of some modes. Only Krishna you can worship in pure goodness. Demigod you don't worship with pure goodness, only with the one of the three guna. So then Krishna says, Bhutani Janti Bhuteja. You worship ghost, you go to ghost planet. You don't go to Krishna. Then Krishna says, if you worship me in pure goodness, you will come to me. So this is not logically sustainable. Can you see that verse? It's actually defeated. The Mayavadi can challenge you, but you have to come up with the logic from Bhagavad Gita. Also, this verse philosophically unscrupulous. Why? Because actually speaking, the philosophy of the Bhagavad Gita clearly talks about what? Progression. Different level of consciousness. That's why first is Sankha Yoga, second chapter. First is Vishad Yoga, the different yoga. First yoga is Vishad Yoga. When somebody is distressed, you don't talk. You listen, allow them to feel confident that you are hearing. You can repeat what they say. Don't say anything. You can repeat, you can reflect and tell them. Then they will feel confidence. This is exactly what Krishna did. Hardly Krishna spoke anything in first chapter. It's all Arjuna speaking. He is in a tormented stage. Okay, let him speak. And Krishna is a best psychiatrist. And then second chapter, when Arjuna surrendered, 2.7, Karpanna Dosa Patasava. That's why Krishna, and we discussed that how Arjuna, bewilderment came not from his fundamental identity, but it came from his functional identity. And everybody in this world bewildered because of the functional identity. Functional identity means I'm a husband, I'm a jeweler, I'm a man, I'm a Russian engineer. So Arjuna had a problem, right? Arjuna had a problem that I am a Kshatriya, fighter. What do you mean fighter? Yes, protection. Kshatriya means they give protection to the soul, to the body, to the family, you know, the whole community like this. It depends on the gradation of what kind of leader you are. And you give protection. But he said, how am I going to give protection? Because the aggressor that I had to kill are my cousin and my relative. He's very bewildered. So he could not do his Kshatriya dharma, he could not do his Kula dharma. That's why Gandiva was slipping off from his shoulder. So what did Arjuna, what did Krishna do? Krishna says, Dehina asmin jata de komaram jovanam jara tatha dehantara prapti dhirastattanam. You are not a Pandava, Arjuna. You are not Pandava. And you are not Kshatriya. Oh, I'm bewildered with this too. I'm not this. No. You are soul. Oh, what is soul? Then all these verses, Nainam chinnanti shasrani, Nainam dhati pavakana, Chainam kladanta, Banashusheti marata, It cannot be cut, you cannot be cut, you cannot kill anyone, you cannot be dried, you cannot be burned. And Krishna whole philosophy gave all about soul. And Arjuna is thinking, I'm soul, I don't have to protect anybody. I don't have to like do any function. But that's not true. But at least Krishna began with that. Find your true identity, constitutional identity. And conditional identity, you have a dilemma. You have a bewilderment. So constitutional to conditional. How do you go? Cognitional. Be aware. Where are you? Why you are here? How you got here? This is called cognitional. Constitutional. From conditional, I have to go to constitutional, bhakti. But to go there, I have to be cognitional. I have to be aware. Why? What is happening in me? That's why the Arjuna asked total how many questions? 16. The whole Bhagavad Gita, 16 questions. And Krishna answered 574 slokas. That's a lot of answer to 16 questions. Because Krishna is very loving, merciful, lover, I would say. So this verse is very, very important. We should really focus. And even many angles to look at it. You know, the famous verse on the 6.47, Yoginamapi sarvesam madgate antaratmana. Now, if you look at the verse before, Krishna says, there is a different yogi and they attain different result. But that yogi who served me in bhakti is the highest. So is Krishna actually grading? Yes, he's grading. There is a higher and lower. So how can everybody following the path goes to him ultimately? No, he does not go. Now you may say, but isn't Krishna everything? Krishna says this in many places. You can literally say that anything attracted, even lust, because generally human being in this material world, I mean every living entity, are very attracted by the lust. So any attraction, Krishna says anything attractive, anything astonishing, anything gives you like a wow, that is me. So is that also Krishna then? Wow, I'm attracted to lust, that means I'm attracted to Krishna. Somebody can put that. You follow? Just the first line. Je jatha mam prapaddante, we just read. Tangs tataiva bhajami aham. Krishna said, I will reward as you surrender to me. Or you can say, Prabhupada, they approach me. Then the answer will be no. Even though those are Krishna, but that will not lead you to Krishna, a person, Supreme God. Then how they are Krishna? Well, they are actually extension, manifestation of Krishna in a different aspect. Brahman is also Krishna, but impersonal aspect. Paramatma is also Krishna, localized aspect. Not a personal serving Lord or friend, no. So everything is Krishna's manifestation. But if you approach everything and then you think you approach Krishna, no, that is not correct. Rather, they will take you away from Krishna. You can only come to Krishna. Krishna says, Bhakta mam avijanati javan jassami tattata. Tato mam tattata getta dishate tadanantaram. You can only approach Krishna by one thing. What is that? Bhakti. And other manifestation of Krishna, you can go there, but you will not actually achieve Krishna. Yes, Trivikram Prabhu, you wanted to say something?
I was thinking, what manifestation is Krishna to the Muslim?
Huh?
I said, what manifestation is Krishna
To the Muslim?
To the Muslim. I mean, is Mayavadi or?
No, I mean, Allah is the name of God.
But they don't have.
It's not a complete. In Quran, there is an explanation of 6 opulences, but it is not vividly explained. Just like the word Ruh means pure pure soul. Ashk means pure love. These are the word in Quran, but they do not have any information what actually God does in spiritual world. So they came to the conclusion maybe he doesn't have a form. And what about the love that ashq, the word ashq in the Quran means pure love. What is about this? He come from a background Muslim, he probably knows. Then, but he didn't study. But thing is that important point is that when they cannot have any information, they don't have any information. See, we have unlimited information actually. Vaishnavas, so much information about spiritual activity of the Lord. They don't have. So what they do, that Begum Sahib, he wrote, you heard about Laila Majnu? Anybody heard about movie Laila Majnu? Yeah, very old movie. Even I saw when I was a little child in India. Laila Majnu is about the love of God in the material world. They think this feeling for, that's why they have a big family. They think the feeling for man and woman is actually what the God express their love. Well, where they're going to go? That's the question. Because even the idea Allahu Akbar, God is great, but the supremacy of God is not measured only by the bigger than biggest. It is also the smaller than smallest. It has to be all comprehensive. So they have a half information, not complete information. What is the smallest manifestation of Krishna in this material world? The jiva. Krishna has a form smaller than our. 8.2 in Bhagavad Gita, you can see in the purport, Prabhupada write, Krishna is so small that he entered into the heart of the living entity. Just to prove it. Because in order to have an all comprehensive, you have to have a bigger than biggest, also smaller than smallest. Otherwise, it's a half, it's not complete. So from that angle, you can, but most of the people, because they cannot come up with the reciprocation of God, so they come up with the impersonal concept, unfortunately. That's the sad part. Is that okay, Prabhu?
Yeah, so what is their destination, you think? I mean, you also said...
it depends on what they actually think, because Jayadvaita Swami told me one time, he was in Dubai or Kuwait, I forgot, and he was listening in the radio. He was driving, they were taking him to another Namhatta program. We have a lot of Namhattas here, there in Middle East. So Maharaj was going and then he was listening this namaz, very nice prayers. And the gentleman was crying. And Prabhupada said, Jayadvaita Maharaj said, oh, is he crying? He said, yes. Oh, what is he saying? He said, no, he's just praying to God and he's crying. You cannot cry. I mean, I don't know exactly, neither Maharaj knows, but you cannot cry for God as an impersonal. You follow? Because deep down in the heart, you have some relation. We all have a relationship with God. Whether we deny or not deny, that's the only difference. You may accept, you may not accept. That's the only difference in this world. But in a constitutional level, fundamentally, we eternally have a relationship. It makes sense? So those who are crying, maybe they'll take birth in the Hare Krishna family and establish that relationship. Krishna is so kind. He literally will guide each soul on their own time. He will never force them. That's the thing. So we don't have to worry, but we should preach as much possible. We don't have to worry for others. Krishna will take care. Krishna will guide them. That's why I like that Prabhupada says, here is a group of people. Krishna is a super soul telling them, hey, there is a sadhu, listen to him, go listen to him. And also in the heart, Krishna is telling, this is how Prabhupada says, it's like he's seeing it. Says he's telling the devotee, go and talk to them. Go and talk to them about me. Go and talk. So Krishna is making both sides to hear and speak, hear and speak. Krishna is unbelievably compassionate. He's always concerned about us. We should depend on him. That's called surrender, dependence. So I'll end with this one, that all paths are meant to lead us to the same goal, but all paths do not lead us all the way to the same goal. Did you get it? The ultimate goal is to go beyond this world to the spiritual world, because somebody actually even asked me other day, so all path jatamat tatapat. No, there's one big spiritual leader said this, and Prabhupada quote that verse too, jatamat tatapat. All the path leads to the same destiny. I said, yes, sure, it will destiny, as long they know what the destiny is. You have to add that. That Ramakrishna did not add it. He didn't say, but we say, yes, we agree with him, because otherwise they will be upset, his follower. No, we agree with you, as long you know what the destiny is, then it will take you there. You can go, I mean, literally, if there is a one door, and you say, okay, can everybody have to go like straight there, or they can go in their own way? Yes, you can go in your own way. You can go like this way, that way, and then go out. Somebody can jump it, limping it, go out. We don't have to go same way, walk. You know what I mean? I mean, like all path. But as long we know the goal to serve Krishna, then it's okay. You can go this route, that route, but you'll go there, as long you know the goal. That's why I like this. Prabhupada said that karma yogi, jnana yogi, other day we discussed, karma yogi means they know goal of life, but they still like to hover in this sense enjoyment. They cannot let go. So they are devotee, but they are not pure devotee yet. They are karma yogi. They will become pure devotee. There's a chance they will become any day. Jnana yogi means they know the goal of life, they are practicing, but they still like to speculate the philosophy. Yeah, maybe some speculation is still there. They cannot give up. Maybe they didn't go to the moon. Maybe they did go. It was a big deal, but he cannot give up. It is difficult to give up. So they're called Jnana yogi. But they know goal of life. So eventually they will come to Krishna. So like this. So there's also in this verse another nice point to be made, that everyone is equal in God's eye, but God is not equal in everybody's eye. If you really look at it, the second line is very nice, sweet. Okay, we are going to read the next one. Oh, Krishna, time is like so run quick. Okay, together. Kangshantaha karmanam siddhim jajanta iha devata shipram hi manusya loke siddhir bhavati karmaja. Mataji, would you like to read? Sure.
Men in this world desire success in fruitive activities, and therefore they worship the demigods. Quickly, of course, men get results from fruitive work in this world.
Purport.
There is a great misconception about the gods or demigods of this material world, and men of less intelligence, although passing as great scholars, take these demigods to be various forms of the Supreme Lord. Actually, the demigods are not different from forms of God, but they are gods, different parts and parcels. God is one, and the parts and parcels are many. The Vedas say, Nityo Nityanam, God is one. Ishvara Parama Krishna, the Supreme God is one, Krishna. And the demigods are delegated as powers to manage this material world. These demigods are all living entities, Nityanam, with different grades of material power. They cannot be equal to the Supreme God, Narayan, Vishnu, or Krishna. Anyone who thinks that God and the demigods are on the same level is called an atheist or Pashanti. Even the great demigods like Brahma and Shiva cannot be compared to the Supreme Lord. In fact, the Lord is worshipped by demigods such as Brahma and Shiva, Virinchi, Nutam. Yet, curiously enough, there are many human leaders who are worshipped by foolish men under the misunderstanding of anthropomorphism, or zoomorphism. Ihadevataha denotes a powerful man or demigod of this material world. But Narayan, Vishnu, Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, does not belong to this world. He is above, or transcendental to material creation. Even Sripada Shankaracharya, the leader of the impersonalists, maintains that Narayan or Krishna is beyond this material creation. However, foolish people, Harit Anjana, worship the demigods because they want immediate results. They get the results but do not know that results so obtained are temporary and are meant for less intelligent persons. The intelligent person is in Krishna consciousness, and he has no need to worship the paltry demigods for some immediate temporary benefit. The demigods of this material world, as well as their worshippers, will vanish with the annihilation of this material world. The boons of the demigods are material and temporary. Both the material world and the inhabitants, including the demigods and the worshippers, are bubbles in the cosmic ocean. In this world, however, human society is mad after temporary things, such as the material opulence of possessing land, family, and enjoyable paraphernalia. To achieve such temporary things, they worship the demigods or powerful men in human society. If a man gets some ministership in the government by worshiping a political leader, he considers that he has achieved a great boon. All of them are therefore kowtowing to the so-called leaders or big guns in order to achieve temporary boons, and they indeed achieve such things. Such foolish men are not interested in Krishna consciousness for the permanent solution to the hardships of material existence. They're all after sense enjoyment, and to get a little facility for sense enjoyment, they're attracted to worship empowered living entities known as demigods. This verse indicates that people are rarely interested in Krishna consciousness. They're mostly interested in material enjoyment, and therefore they worship some powerful living entity.
Very nice, very practical way Prabhupada explained. Most of the people will not understand Krishna consciousness. Also, going to Krishna with sense enjoyment idea is like if a child on the birthday party got a $50 or say $100, he can buy 200 or 2,000 candies. And he's going to keep it under his bed, under his pillow, and going to eat the whole thing. Well, the loving father may not want that. He'll probably, and if he fights, he'll give a little slap probably and take all the candies. It's only one, that's it. Why? Because if he eats that kind of candy, he'll get sick, he'll lose all his tooth and all these things. So sense gratification is like this. It does not really benefit the soul, but because soul is deprived of the relationship with the Lord, and they are pleasure seeking by nature, they cannot give up. They can replace pleasure seeking by nature. Jiva Sukhanesi. Prabhupada used that word, Jiva Sukhanesi. They cannot give up, and they should not give up. Any philosophy that actually promote that we should give up. But why then we give up? There's a austerity and abstaining from the sense enjoyment for a higher. For a higher principle, you have to give up lower. But you replace it, not give up like. If any devotee seriously endeavor and pursue this path and literally follows this, they will have an inner connection with the Lord. And that inner connection gives them a conviction, such a sweet conviction, determination that will sustain their bhakti. The other cannot sustain their bhakti because they don't have that inner connection. As a result, they don't have that determination or conviction. They're just hanging around. They cannot give up because there is a fear of material world. They cannot give up the material sense enjoyment. The both are like going sometime, tag walk. Which way? This way. This is the biggest problem. 11.20.27.28. The famous verse Krishna talks about this tug war. That the devotee is not for conditioned soul, for us. The devotee, Krishna says, they go through a tough time in their life. But Krishna is aware that we go through this. Sometimes I want to become pure devotee. Yes, 100% surrender. It will be nice to have a house on the beach or some nice facility. Slowly I will go there. No, I'll completely surrender. Yeah, but why rush now? Just slow down. There's a tag of war. So Krishna knows that. It's not something like something new, but for us it's like a new experience. So how do you progress? Progress is you replace with higher taste. Now, if you would ask me 20 years back, I would not know practically what is that higher taste. I mean, the idea is good, but experience is more important than explanation. We want more experience in our life because that will take us and guide us from within. Otherwise, explanation sustained for a while and then it drops somewhere and then again pops, again drops, again pops. It's like difficult. So in this verse, yes.
Well, I remember a while back, I'm not sure if it's correct or the way that I remembered it, but there's fear of our spiritual identity.
Yeah, this is 410.
And I'm wondering how that ties into that tug of war, because I've never quite understood. Like I can see it within me, but I still want to kind of understand how that ties into that tug of war, spiritual path.
410, the previous two sloka before, Prabhupada put in the purport. See, from a practical point, when I was reading the purport, I was thinking also, like what Prabhupada is giving us, that, okay, Krishna is a spiritual form. What do you know about spiritual form? We only know, okay, I'm thinking of Krishna as a young blue boy, but he's a very handsome. That boy nose is so good, it's very attractive. Other boy I saw, he has beautiful eyes. So all the experience we are talking about material form, you follow? Like somebody said, Golok Vrindavan, Satadip is like a outskirt of Golok. Vrindavan is Satadip. Also in between Vrindavan and Navadip, there is Satadip. So the explanation is there. Outskirt, there's a square. So then I was asking, what are you doing, Maharaj, when you listening this? That the outskirt of Golok Vrindavan is square. He said, to be honestly, I know square building, square. So I put a square, like probably square like this, Golok Vrindavan in the middle, rounds or some lotus and square. So you take a impression from here and projecting there. But that we'll never understand. But that's all we have. So what to do? Have a faith, strong faith on the word of Guru and Shastra and Sadhu. Otherwise, not possible progress. When you think of Krishna, we think of like a very handsome boy, very attractive boy. And if you look at a lot of painting, they're like painting some nice, attractive boy. That's true. But Krishna also revealed. That's why other day we discussed that how the deity manifested in this world, if you pursue, then you will understand. It is not the form we are attracted only. We should be attracted to the substance. When you look at the deity form, you think, but that deity is the supreme God. The unlimited universe is within him. And you're looking at the deity, but you're looking actually beyond the deity. Can you understand my way of expressing? When you're looking at the deity, you're thinking like, wow, he's the most loving, reciprocal person. He did this with that devotee. He did this with that devotee. Brajavashi loves him. He reciprocated. He possesses all these 6 opulences and you go through 64 qualities he has. And all these are called substance. He's so lovable person. He's a one person can never be found anywhere. Whether you are in hell or heaven or stool pit or heaven, he is always with you. He never left you a company. Believe me, it doesn't matter how much who loves me in this world. If I am mean, if I am really in a stool pit, they all will leave. But Krishna never left. You think very seriously, what kind of friend never gives up, only waiting for me to turn towards him? These are called substance. Veddam vastavam vastu shivadam trapatrayana unmulanam. Bhagavatam says, Veddam vastavam vastu. See Krishna as a vastav vastu, substance, real substance. So you look at the deity, then you think of the substance. Then when you reach the substance, then you say the substance is the form. But to see, first to approach the deity, we offer food and other. By practicing this, we are eventually crossing the three modes of material nature. You follow? First thing, transcending. But while transcending, we are also transforming our mind, our heart. While we are transcending, we are transforming also our atmosphere, where we live. So this is a wonderful process. Bhakti does this. Then when you cross through the deity, through that transcendence place, then you will see actually the substance and the form are one, inseparable. But in the beginning, just not interested to hear about Krishna, but only attracted to the form, may not purify completely. It's required to hear about Krishna from Sadhu Guru. Yes, Prabhu.
And Jiva Goswami has a nice, he says there's three perceptions of the deities. The first of a devotee, the first perception is knowing that's God, having that awareness that God is the fact that this deity is God. The second is that you begin to experience relationship, reciprocation between yourself and the deity. And then the third perception is the highest, is that is not deity, that is Krishna. So you see directly Krishna and Radha.
Vidyut.
Yeah.
That's called Vidyut. Yes. In Bhagavad Gita commentary also I saw that. That's very true. This is very nice. And we have to actually go through that process. Otherwise we will be deprived. You know, so many doubts starts coming, popping here, there. Okay.
Prabhupada, you know, he
gives in the Bhagavad Gita as like a mailbox. He talks about addressing. Also, he talks about Mr. Nixon. What is his first name?
Richard Nixon.
No. Rick Nixon. Prabhupada is talking about that. He said, but in Krishna consciousness, I'm paraphrasing. In Krishna consciousness, it's very difficult to deal with the idea that God is the deity. Prabhupada said, well, you have to accept, you have to have a faith. He said, but it's very extremely difficult. Then Prabhupada says, you see this man who just died, and you see the family people are crying. Well, who they are crying for? Then Mr. Nixon said, well, you're talking about the spirit. Then Prabhupada said, did anybody see the spirit? Said, no. But then why they are crying? If they are crying for the spirit, but they never saw the spirit. So what is the base? So there is some faith, there is some trust that there is a spirit in the body. Otherwise, body is there, but why they are crying? They are not crying for the body. They are crying for the whoever the departed soul. So it's very good logic Prabhupada gives. Yes, this is very true. Many examples like that. We should meditate on those examples. And ultimately, Bhaktivinoda Thakur gives a very nice. He said, the association of those advanced devotees are so contagious that you develop affection for the deity, for the Lord, for Bhagavan, he says, for Bhagavan, who manifested. Now Ramanujacharya says every devotee should think these 5 features. Para, Buha, Vaibhava, Antarjami, and Archamurti. Para is Krishna. From him, the Buha, the quadruple, the two quadruple in a Vaikuntha, Mahavaikuntha. And then Vaibhava, all these unlimited incarnation manifestation. Then the super soul, Antarjami. Then comes deity. The devotee should always meditate that Krishna from Golok Vrindavan came down out of his compassionate nature, this deity. So devotees should think like this. And then Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, when you think like this, then with the association of those devotees, affection will develop in the heart for the deity. And proportion to the affection development, the material concept of the deity will disappear. Everybody got that point? You have to have develop some affection for the Lord in relationship. So that's very convincing. Okay, we'll do the 13 and then we'll stop. It's like time passed so quick. Together, the 13. Oh, this is a famous verse. Chaturvarnam maya srishtam guna karma vibhagasa tasya kartaraham api mam vidhi akartaram apayam. Mr. Kumar, would you like to read?
Yes, according to the three modes of material nature and the work associated with them, the four divisions of human society are created by me. And although I am the creator of the system, you should know that I am yet the non-doer, being unchangeable. But the Lord is the creator of everything. Everything is born of Him. Everything is sustained by Him. Everything, after annihilation, rests in Him. He is therefore the creator of the four divisions of the social order, beginning with the intelligent class of men, technically called the Brahmanas, due to their being situated in the mode of goodness. Next is the administrative class, technically called the Kshatriyas, due to their being situated in the mode of passion. The mercantile men, called the Vaishyas, are situated in the mixed modes of passion and ignorance. And the Sudras, or labor class, are situated in the ignorant mode of material nature. So, in spite of his creating the four divisions of human society, Lord Krishna does not belong to any of these four divisions, because he is not one of the conditioned souls, a section of whom form human society. Human society is similar to any other animal society, but to elevate men from the animal status, the above-mentioned divisions are created by the Lord for the systematic development of Krishna consciousness. The tendency of particular man toward work is determined by the modes of material nature which he has acquired. Such symptoms of life, according to the different modes of material nature, are described in the 18th chapter of this book. A person in Krishna consciousness, however, is above even the Brahmanas. Although Brahmanas by quality are supposed to know about Brahman, the supreme absolute truth, most of them approach only the impersonal Brahman manifestation of Lord Krishna. But a man who transcends the limited knowledge of a Brahmana and reaches a knowledge of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna, becomes a person in Krishna consciousness, or in other words, a Vaishnava. So Krishna consciousness includes knowledge of all different planetary expansions of Krishna, namely Rama, Narasimha, Varaha, etc. And as Krishna is transcendental to this system of four divisions of human society, a person in Krishna consciousness is also transcendental to all divisions of human society, whether we consider the divisions of community, nation, or species.
So I hope everybody understands. Varnashram provides a social structure for spiritual advancement. Everybody understand that, right? You heard the Varnashram, but you have to know also what the Varnashram means. It gives a social structure. For what? To enjoy? No, for spiritual advancement. Varna means provides one's material needs in the least, I would say, uncomplicated and the most harmonious way according to one's psychophysical nature. And ashram provides a time-wise progression because there is a 4 ashram. So it's a time-wise progression in one's spiritual commitment. So that's ashram. You are born with a particular combination of 3 modes. There is no way you can ever get out of it. Only one way. There's a loophole that when you have a holy name sprout in your heart, that is the beginning of bhakti, pure bhakti. That possible prarabdha or prarabdha, kuta bija disappears. But prarabdha means you are born with something. You can never distinguish, destroy it. As long it is timed, you have to go through this. So as the time mature, you have an experience. You feel like to do this, you feel like to do that. These are called Varna. You are born with Varna. You are not born with ashram. Ashram is given to you, as I mentioned, that it's a time-wise progression in spiritual commitment. You get a brahmachari life, grihastha life. All 4 ashram has a one rules. Restriction for sex, period. Brahmachari, no sex. Grihastha, license. Vanaprastha, abstaining. Sannyasi, no. All 4 ashram has a one rule. And all other rules are based on that. Follow? Because that is the most important. Now, psychophysical nature, that you are born with particular combination, you cannot give up. It is almost impossible. So it is urgent, like I think few sloka, maybe, no, in 3rd chapter we read. Prabhupada said, if you have an early life training from childhood, and you can maintain a sophisticated way, then you don't have to fall back. But it is difficult. It is very difficult unless you have a good association all the time. Then possible you can get out. It's extremely difficult otherwise. So Varnashram is very important. And like an example, a guy stole something, then the owner or woke up or something, and then they had a fight, and then the owner called the police, then police came, police took him to the jail, then the judge gave him punishment. Now, who is responsible for his punishment? You may say, well, if the owner did not call the police, it would be okay. And if the owner did it, okay, but the police should not have done this. Or if you say, okay, police is okay, but the judge should not have given it. So you can go so many causes of your suffering. You know, the owner caused you, the police caused you, the judge caused it. But actually, these are all contingent. Begin with the person who stole, the thief. If he did not steal, then all these things, the owner, police, and judge, and the prison, nothing would have anything to do. So this is called psychophysical nature, that he feels like he has to steal it. It's very difficult to understand why people act the way they act. Because it's like almost pre-programmed, They're like a default, they're going to act. Now, bhakti is very powerful. Bhakti can uproot that. But how many people really going for it? Very few. We are not majority in this world. We are minority. The Hare Krishna people are very minor. Even that, out of all Hare Krishna are not completely thriving for uprooting. They're like, want to go, let's enjoy a little bit of this. Because I come from that level, like I know where it's this little here. Very, very difficult to just get out of everything. Because two things can take you out from the material life to the spiritual transition. Tavat karmani kurvita, na niravedya javata. Mat katha sravanadova, Shraddha Javanna Jayate. Krishna told to Uddhava, when somebody has these two symptoms, he can actually get out from the material, lift up his leg and put it in spiritual. You can like step over there in spiritual level. Spiritual is another reality within here. When you are satiated with the sense enjoyment, worldly enjoyment, Krishna says, when your attraction is more than this world, I'll take you out of the world. But this is an experience, you follow? Somebody feels strongly inside, yeah, I can live. I don't need any enjoyment in this world. I can live without this. It does not require. I had enough. I'm just not frustrated. Be careful. If you are frustrated from this world because nothing came easily, you are trying your hard and you don't get it. You know frustration? You know the word frustration? You never know. It gives you like a anger and all this. Now, that is Krishna did not say that. Krishna says satisfaction. When you say, it's enough, I have no more. I don't want it. Consciously you choosing to just withdraw yourself. Like Bhagavad Gita says, tortoise. They pull back their leg. You ever saw? Like you never saw turtle? You saw turtle? The leg goes inside. Huh? Yeah, when there's a fear or something, they just pull everything. Nobody knows where they are. So like this, the yogi, they seize their senses. Now, I don't need, I'm satisfied. I had enough experience of life. So that's first symptom. Second symptom, Krishna says, Mat katha sravanadoba. They have actually a greed within them. They love hearing about me. They really want to hear about me. They have like some craving. I want to hear about Krishna. I want to hear. They're like looking book. They're like hearing. They have a discrimination power. They're not like randomly hearing anybody, Mayavad. No, not like that. They're interested just bhakti topics. So they have a satiation, in other words, satisfaction from the senses. And they have a very attraction. Krishna says, when you have these two, then you are stepping out of the material reality to spiritual reality. It's very practical. It is not somebody can tell you where you are. It is your self-exam. Your consciousness where you are, you think. So I think it's a 7:49. Can you believe like it was so fast? But it's okay. We'll get back next Wednesday. We'll end here. Any reflection, question, comment? Yes.
One question, Prabhu.
Yes.
It's like a basic question. Lord Vishnu took multiple avatars, right? Before Lord Krishna, he came as Jai Shri Ram. I think the gap is thousands or millions of years. I don't know. That is okay.
Where? First, did you say?
Yeah.
Vishnu?
Yeah, Lord Vishnu came as Jai Shri Ram, right? The avatars, multiple avatars, right? And then, I mean, as
but origin
yeah,
is Krishna.
Yes. Okay.
Krishna,
Yeah.
to reciprocate with the devotee, he manifests different form. You think like this.
So,
Don't say Vishnu, then came.
okay.
Okay.
Fine. My main question was about the soul
Soul.
concept.
Us, you mean?
No. Let me complete my question, Prabhu.
Okay.
So many avatars of, let's say, Lord Krishna himself has happened as Jai Shri Ram or Narasimha, Lord Narasimha, everything. The soul is the basics of the whole spirituality of Hinduism, at least. So why is it that Arjuna had to be told, hey buddy, you are a soul, think from the soul angle, nobody can kill you, you're not going to kill. My question is, they have the spiritual gurus, I forget the name of every kingdom has a spiritual guru, right? Right? Like example, Dasharatha was the king of right?
Vaishishta.
Right, like that. So these gurus would have taught Arjuna, like, hey, the soul is the base for everything and the spirituality. So why is that Arjuna, my question ultimately is, did Arjuna did not know about soul concept?
Well, we can look at different way also. Prabhupada gives in the beginning of Bhagavad Gita, you can read actually there, Prabhupada says that Arjuna was put into this. It's not that Arjuna did not know. Arjuna is a pure devotee. He is above the soul level. He is in a love with the Lord. It's a relationship.
He was totally confused at the war field because he
No, because Krishna is using him to speak Bhagavad Gita. Because you cannot bring an ordinary person. Ordinary person doesn't even think like him. So Arjuna was put into this apparently illusion so that he's on behalf of us. Many purport will see Prabhupada says, it is not for Arjuna, but he's asking on behalf of us.
For the humanity.
For our benefit. Arjuna was put into so that Bhagavad Gita can be revealed. Thank you. Okay, any other? Yes, Prabhu.
So, quick question. It was Yoga Maya, right? Yeah.
Yogamaya.
Yeah, Krishna put Arjuna to Yoga Maya. But the question
For a Arjuna, for a Krishna, Yogamaya and Mahamaya, there is no difference.
Yeah, for us it's different, right?
For us, difference, yes.
Yeah, what's different for us?
For us, difference. I can look at you. I can say, this guy is from some Russia, some part of, it looks a little strange. I mean, I can say so many, I may not say you directly, but I may think like this. That's attitude coming from me, I'm creating. That is, I'm taking shelter of Mahamaya. I can also look at you and say, this soul belongs to Krishna, got this body, and now he's coming to spiritual life. It's so nice that he's going back home. That is spiritual. I'm taking the internal potency. For us, Krishna is saying 18.60, you can read there. Svabhajena kunteya nivaddasena karmana kartum nechusi janmahat karishyasi avasya apita. You are compelled to act because you born with a particular nature, as we said, psychophysical nature. That's combination of modes. So you will act on that. So Arjuna, he's telling to Arjuna, either you fight for me or you'll fight for Maya. You cannot stop fighting. You follow? So choice, Krishna is not going to tell you. Krishna will show you, this is the choice. You take internal potency, you'll please me, you'll come back to spiritual world. You take external energy, you just going in a circle, merry-go-round, birth, death, old age, disease, birth, death, old age, disease. Where are you? Getting old, then you die, take birth again, go on. Like it never stops. So that's, we decide. Krishna doesn't decide, Krishna helps us. But Krishna will never force or intervene in our free will. Because otherwise, what's the value of free will? That's why Prabhupada gave that famous example. You put a gun on the forehead of a girl, say, you love me or I'll kill you. Then Hridayananda Maharaj says, oh, Because he asked the question, didn't Krishna know that we'll misuse our free will? And Prabhupada said, you don't understand the value of free will. Free will is so valuable. This is the most precious gift we got from Krishna. It's a choice we make. We can act like him. We never can act like him, but we can try. We tried since time immemorial. God. And soul will never be able to act like God. It is not possible. We are minute constitutionally. But choice we make takes us our destiny. We are the product of our own decision. So for us, material and spiritual is like this. You follow? You always choosing. You have choice all the time. Even while you are chanting, even after chanting, there is Mahamaya and there is Krishna. Who you going to take shelter, you decide. And of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna did not say, Arjuna, come on, fight. No, he says, Jatha ichhasi tata kuru. Do as you like. You follow? After whole Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is still giving him choice. Do as you like. Then Arjuna says, the last verse, 1873, not last verse of Bhagavad Gita, last verse of Krishna, Arjuna. Nasta moha smriti labdha. Now my illusion is gone. Tat prasadat. I'm very grateful to you, Krishna, for removing me this illusion. It's very nice. We should be grateful to Prabhupada. We should be always thanking to the devotees who are helping us to advance in spiritual life. Then he says, Stitosmi gata sandeha, because my doubt has gone. Now I am firmly fixed as your servant. Stitosmi gata sandeha, karishye vachanam tava. I'll do as you like me to do. He didn't say I can fight now. No. He said, I will do as you want me to do. This is surrender soul. If Arjuna say I can fight, or I don't want to fight, or I can fight, or I cannot fight, both are false ego product. We'll do as Lord wants us to do. This is good. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Gaur Brahmanande, Hari Hari Bol. We're going to just sing 1 minute and then we'll close it. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Gurudev.